November of 1777, the British Royal Fleet pounded Fort Mifflin, thousands of cannonballs every hour. The troops here fled, setting fire to every building and everything in it that they couldn't carry with them.
As soon as I got here, I felt called to do some earth magic. I've actually had reoccurring dreams of a soldier.
That's where the guards used to squeeze in, and there's a hole in the wall back there where they slipped them their food and took their wastebasket.
His child, what? I crushed it.
I mean, it's clear that we're getting communication from soldiers in here.
You see skeletons on the screen, and there's nobody there. It's probably a ghost.
Ooh.
Oh, I got a little figure.
Wait.
Did you desert your country?
I'm British. How do you feel about me being here?
Thousands of troops killed so quickly, they had no chance to connect with the other side and remain here. We just had to bring you to historic Fort Mifflin on the Delaware on this episode of The Ghost Finders.
Hello, hello.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Oh my gosh.
Hello there.
Hello.
Mike.
Keith and Mike and
Greg. What's up, Greg?
Hi,
Mr. Fort Mifflin himself.
Lots of cool folk.
Lots of cool folk. Lindsay. Oh, go girl.
Love Lindsay. Hi, girl.
Hello, hello.
And Merlin.
So we wanted to come and we wanted to kind of do a live before our big premiere here. We've had it going where every holiday we release a new episode, and this is our spring Easter episode that we filmed. Amazing location, just an amazing location. Being able to be the only ones in a fort and have full access to everything, just the tunnels, the buildings. Total creep factor.
Yeah. We really did sort of pull out all the stops on this, right, Dan? I mean, I know, guys, I think because we actually filmed this episode and the previous episode a few weeks ago that was at Haldeman Mansion the same weekend. And boy, it was not easy.
To say the least.
Putting it mildly, right, Meg? Right, girls?
Yeah, it was definitely a time, but like it was so rewarding, and our time at Fort Mifflin was like unbelievable. Especially like you can definitely see it on camera, but even when we were off camera, just walking around there and just being in those tunnels, it's one of my favorite memories now. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and Melody, you know, I remember because this was just like that weekend was like a crucial sort of turning point for you, because I know that you'd done, because you're like a paranormal veteran and you know, household name, you know, like Kleenex, you know, and you know, I will fondly remember forever, you know, you like sitting at Fort Mifflin. And we've been there for like 3 hours, and everyone's like still running around, and Tommy's just like the director, is like running around like with, and I'm like, Tommy, and he was like, later. Hold that thought, you know. So because this is like, I don't know how many cups of coffee this guy drinks, right, Dan? He was like all over the place, and she's like, will I at some point get to that's the gate?
She was just like itching to go speak with some
I was just ready. I was like, guys, we have all of this space, all of this creepy space. Like, let's do something.
Yeah.
You guys
You
are
ever
like,
have her give you that stare? That it's like lasers are burning holes through the soul of your very being.
For
And
me,
it's like, God, I don't ever want to piss her off.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, I get you. Love.
Well, to be fair, too, when we were filming at Fort Mifflin, it was the very first time that my son walked. Like, he was at home. My father was watching him, and I got a text that he walked for the first time, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I got the little video, and I was like, meh.
That happened for me too with my son. Like his first time ever walking, me and my wife were on our honeymoon, and we were on a cruise. And when we came back, he walked up to us. I was like, "Oh my God, it sucks missing something like that." But hey,
Yeah.
I sometimes have to like text my daughter a picture of Daddy because, it's just like, well, yesterday, I think it was actually 17 hours we were working on post doing the final polish ups until suddenly like 4:45 a.m. this morning when we went to bed and had to get up like, it was like 4 hours, but whatever. An hour ago, I was out running around Facebook shopping for some bench that she needed that she found on the marketplace, not knowing where it was. I'm like, I'm supposed to be on air in 25 minutes. Where is this bloody house?
Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny. No, I'm just happy we wrapped when we did today. So, because as you guys know, I've been working on the set of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, with Kathy Bates and Rachel McAdams. So I'm like so excited. It's like a Judy Blume book. So I've been like, there's been armies of children this whole week, like while we're running background, and I've been doing makeup on that. So yeah, I had my like pigtails on and my goth bat hat that all the kids love, just running around with my bags. And I like wrapped, got home, like showered and got ready. And I was like, yes, the universe just works it out, Rob. See, you're here. We're all good.
I love it. There's no other way to be, is there? Lindsay's like, hell yeah, Megan. So pumped for you.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, girl. You're the best. I love her. Like
Mike Archer's like, I was in Saudi Arabia when my twins started walking.
Oh my gosh.
Mike. Yeah,
Wow.
that is it. Twins too. That's double the feel.
yeah,
Whoa.
Aww.
Yeah. When mine started walking, my youngest Lily, aka Nubbins, within 2 months I'd lost 30 pounds. It was because just running after her, like,
oh yeah, you're always chasing them.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, that like, yeah, I couldn't. I tell you, everybody who's on, and I want to thank you for Keith and Lindsay and Mike and Jerry and everybody who's on. Because without you guys, we wouldn't be here, and of course this fantastic, awesome team, not just the cast, but all the people that work so hard behind the scenes to make these episodes and put them all together. So we really appreciate you guys.
We love you guys. Like we always say, you're a part of our paranormal family.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's about. So yeah.
Absolutely. But does anyone have any fun questions?
Yes, please.
Things we can talk about? Because we can talk shop for days.
certainly.
Especially, yeah.
No, I was gonna say, and I mean, we could talk a little bit about our experiences. I mean, we don't want to give everything away because, I mean, none of us has seen the episode except for Rob at this point. So we know and Heather, and we know what we experienced and some of the things that happened. But when you film, you don't know if everything's going to be, sometimes it's hard to cram everything into one episode, and we don't know. We're all just as anxious to watch it as everybody else. And it's exciting,
I almost on the one hand, I miss our point and click Ghost Finders days.
Yeah.
Like the cheaper cameras and stuff, and not the crew, the professional industry crews that we have these last couple seasons. But on the other hand, I think people are going to enjoy it a lot more. One of the things you guys are going to notice is that we are much less, if at all, using night vision, infrared. Not because we think it's less helpful or anything else. It's simply from a storytelling point of view. for cinematic purposes, obviously it's harder for you as a viewer to relate and connect with and sort of be there with us if you're seeing this like green, fluorescent green, you know, and unless of course you put on a pair of green, you know, sunglasses. So we really want you to see the shadows that we're seeing, that the light's casting. We want to see you to see the movement, feel the vibe that we feel. So that's
basically make them feel like they're there with us.
Right.
And shooting with cinematic cameras, it really draws you in, and it's very low light, and you can actually see what we're seeing. You know, there's no tricks of the camera at all. And from the 3 episodes or 4, what we've done 3 episodes shooting like this now, and they've come out fantastic. You know, they really have. As far as you just feel like you're part of the story and part of what we're doing when we're on location and on set.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, the fantastic locations too. Melody, you know what? I am, guys, I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am, but I can't tell you where we're going to be next until I get an okay back. But it's going to be in. Oh my God! Don't do it, Rob. No, it's
Don't
such
do
an
it.
amazing.
You can't do it.
Yeah. I don't want to jinx, but it's one of those locations that is spectacular for everything.
Does it require a passport?
No,
around.
No, this first one doesn't. No, so unless they change the law, but it's still it's still quite a haul. But it's locations. So we'd rather make, I guess what I'm trying to say is we'd rather make sort of half the amount of episodes instead of sort of 10 episodes a season. We'd rather make 5 and make them super, super well with all the resources we can possibly muster and make the locations banging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instead of stretching the dollar and doing it half-assed, make 5 amazing episodes.
Putting all our bottoms together and our asses and bits and making just the best we possibly
it
can.
makes my soul happy too, because like some of our past episodes too, like we'll be in these beautiful locations and experience it, and we want to do our best, exactly like we were saying, to have you guys get the environment completely like we are feeling. So this new way of shooting and just us giving it our all in that respect, it's so much more rewarding than a bunch of episodes that are like here and there. So we love you guys, and thanks for the support back, because you guys have been so positive about the recent episodes too. So thanks, guys.
Yeah,
thanks. I kind of feel like you ever go to a startup company and then you start, and then there's the 2 people sitting in the basement and then building the company up, and then you start adding another piece and it gets bigger. But Rob, you've been through the grit and grind building this up for all these years. Then you added Megan, and then I came in and I threw your whole world around upside down. And you know I did.
Yeah.
And then Melody just walks in with cinematic cameras, filming. We're filming with all the high tech stuff. Like this is just normal filming. You know, it's. But you've also filmed for you've also done Hunting the Haunted too. Like that was probably not with cinematic cameras as well. So I mean, I guess what I'm saying is Rob, you've really built this up, and if you look at what you did on day 1 as compared to what we're putting out now, just unbelievable. What a turn of events, and what a big change, and the whole aspect of what we're doing.
And it's been a journey that credit where it's due. That's been a lot of people over the years that have volunteered, their time and hard work. From sound engineers to camera crew to cast, as we've evolved and grown, and it's all due to them. Whether they're still a part of it or not, they're always a part of this journey with us and of their own, and I really thank them all for that. But Megan, I don't care. I'll take one for the team. So Megan takes me. This is about 5.5 years ago. She takes me aside and she's like, "Yeah, Rob, she knows what I'm going to say now. She knows what I'm going to say. And she's like,
I said it's
so
so
there's
nice
this
too.
thing called like craft services, and see, we have to.
I love it.
We're supposed to feed
Gotta feed
our, you know. And I was like,
we like we're out there. You got like 5 people here out in the middle of nowhere. They need some granola.
they
Like
need
Something.
So she's just like, I'm like, we were out. I mean, at that point, we were like, it's not like we're the Bold and the Beautiful.
No,
like,
but you guys were passionate and you were a family doing what you
Yeah.
love to do, and it
So
was
she's like-
really awesome. So I was like, hey, just so you know, like this is what we're doing on these sets, and like, how about a call sheet? Yeah, like this is great.
So
And
yeah, we've grown with it, you know, and you've been a big part of that, Megan. And I'll never forget in Virginia, it was like 108 degrees. We were all like pickled on mead from this meadery at Oak Hill winery, and we're investigating the 4th Chief Justice's residence, John Marshall Estate, down up there in Delaplane. And so she's like, it's budget, right? And I'm like, yeah, put budget, you know. And so she's like, okay, let's go. And we drove into the nearest town kind of town. And she runs into this Kroger or whatever it was. She was just like, what if, and I'm like, $50. And she was like, she grabs it. And we runs on in, comes out with like loaves of bread, like a friggin', you know, like she was like feeding the 5,000, and she turned 5 loaves and 4 fishes, or the other way around. Long story short, finally we fed everybody, and they had the best damn bologna sandwiches ever.
they really were. And I had the best time with Heather out in that cemetery there. Like, I remember that was my very, very first episode, and it was super rewarding for me too. And I told you guys this because, like, after that, because I was just a guest for that episode, and then you guys were like, "Hey, yeah, you want to do this again?" And I was like, "Yes." But hearing a spirit's voice on the spirit box for the first time, like being a witch and like growing up with spirits, like I knew it and I felt it and could hear it in my head, but to have it confirmed and hear it out loud with technology, I was like, and I'm in.
Your face, your reaction, and everything, it was priceless. I mean, it was,
dancing.
and I saw Heather's first one too, you know, and it's I think it's something that you live, right, Dan, through other people's eyes. You know, they see when they have their first real paranormal experience. Like, right, Melody, is like, it's almost like it's yours as well.
Oh, absolutely. It's so incredible because it just like, it gives me so much joy because I've been doing this for so long, and like I've had my own experiences. So especially with someone who's super skeptical and isn't quite sure about the afterlife or the paranormal or whatever you want to call it, when they have that first profound experience where they're like, oh my God, I just experienced something. It's like, I feel that adrenaline that I got the very first time because I always had this huge insatiable interest in the supernatural, but I wasn't quite sure because I never had an experience until I was 17. And when I had that experience, it was like, game on. I need to know more. And now here I am, like 11 years later with more questions than I started with, but
that's how it works. What was your first experience like?
So my first experience was actually like Holy Grail situation. I was walking around an old mental hospital up in the New England area, and I actually saw a full-bodied apparition appear, run out into the path in front of me, stop, turn, run, and disappear, like in front of my eyes. And I like heard it running on like the gravel, you know, saw it, and it was just like the pure, oh my God, it's real. Because like that was my moment of everything I'd always been interested in. I'm like, oh my God, like it's true, but what is it?
That's fabulous.
Yeah, it was insane, especially for the very first one.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Hey,
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Kyle, my buddy up in Canada, my mate, Kyle Merriman. He's an Irishman. up in Canada, and he's in the stream, and my buddy Emmanuel's in there. But I saw a question, and I thought it would be interesting to have Melody answer this question, because this is Melody's first experience hearing the word "cut" while we're filming, and they asked in the chat. They asked in the chat, how do we deal with the noises and stuff like that, and being where Fort Mifflin is with the planes coming in, we were all looking at the airport schedule, like, when does that damn last plane come in? We could try filming something, all of a sudden you'd have a jet going over the top of you. Cut, and Melody's like, "Cut, what is?" In the middle of doing an investigation here, and we. So there was a lot of little learning curves. So
so like, for those who don't know, I've been doing paranormal investigating for like over a decade now. I've filmed with other shows, but they were more like documentary style, where we would literally just investigate all night and like splice together all our green cut footage, so working with the Ghost Finders is my very first like cinemagic, like beautifully artistic project. And I absolutely love it, but it was quite the shift in what I'm used to, as ever, like Megan, Dan, and Rob will absolutely, because I was like that person that probably made the shoot way longer than it had to be. Because like our director, Tommy, would be like, "Cut, Melody, you keep putting your back to the camera." And I'm like, "What? I didn't even know you were there." Or like, "Cut," and be like, "Hey, Melody." That's what it always was. And like, he cut so many times because like of stuff I was doing. And then like in the middle of investigating, if something happened, like a plane or like an outside noise, and we had to cut momentarily, I had a meltdown at Fort Mifflin. Rob knows very well. I had like a meltdown, and I was like, "I don't know what you want from me." Like, and he was like, "I want you to do your thing, but you also have to be aware that like we are filming something. Like we have like an objective here." Because honestly, my meltdown happened after like they had to shoot Dan and I walking down the stairs to solitary confinement about 17 times because I kept tripping on the final step. And I was like, "Can't you just start it once we're down there?"
I can't wait to see you guys in that, because we were away. So we're stoked to see the episode for all of that reason. I'm like, "Oh, what happened in there? I heard about it after."
I know. I'm so excited. Like, this is like just as exciting for us because like Dan talked about it. Like we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen the final episode. And like, I can't wait to see Megan doing her thing. Like, I don't know if anyone knows, but like, I'm Megan's biggest fangirl. I'm always like creeping while she's filming Ritual, being like, "What's she doing?" Because I just love it. It's so beautiful and like authentic.
Thank you so much.
Just remember to stay out of her circle.
Yeah. Don't ever go in the circle.
Unlike Daniel, you'll know what we're talking about in the next episode that's in California, in Laguna Beach. But I want to give any spoilers away. But yeah, what Dan just said will make so much more sense after you see the next episode.
That's all. Like, everybody would know. They're like, "Oh," but we won't. It was. You'll see. But no, I love you too, Melody, so much. Like, I'm just so excited to have you back. Like, no, it's funny, the retake. So in the previous episode when Dan was like introducing, I noticed, because guys, I like happy girl squealed so ridiculous. They used the one take where I was like a normal human being, because I was like, "Ah," like I probably broke the microphone. Or just, it was
Poor Brian, our sound guy.
yeah, exactly. So it's not just you, girl, and it takes time to like get into the groove, but you're awesome and I love you so much. It's the whole family's complete. Yay.
Yeah, we don't get along at all, guys. Just so you know, like, no, when you're filming, like 14 hours at a time, and you've got all kinds of, the pressure is on, and it's one thing to do sort of your take your camcorders and make a cutesy little video documentation of your investigation. It's also really cool, and everyone should do it. But television production is, as Megan will tell you, it's simply a lot of dedication and hard work, and being deaf to the word stop or no or you can't. I mean, and it's in your blood, or it isn't. Someone said to me the other day, well, are you famous doing your ghost show yet? I said, I don't understand what that question means. I'm doing the two things that I've always only ever wanted to do: filmmaking and the paranormal are the two passions of my life. So why would I care about anything above and beyond that? I don't understand the question. Hopefully that answers your question. And we all feel that way. So that's sort of, anything else is sort of secondary to that. But yeah, it feels great when someone in the street says, "Oh, you're that anemic son of a bitch with an English accent who cries and goes running out of houses like a screaming 14-year-old."
Yep.
I'm like, no, my name's Rob.
At least they recognize you in the street. They recognized me in Walmart the one time.
Did they? What happened?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Huh? Yeah.
Walmart's a great. Let's not go to Walmart.
That's why. Yeah.
It's getting way too weird. but do you remember Dan, when gosh, it's almost this is one of the things that you guys as well I want to say is that we're going to put together an episode of all the location B-roll and sort of BTS roll, of the stuff that we've got.
Good.
There's so much great, spontaneous, funny stuff that happens behind the camera.
I would like to see a 15-minute roll of Megan just saying "Rob,"
Yes.
in different
Rob,
investigations.
I love that.
Rob.
She says one time she says to me, "Rob, why don't you ever listen?"
It's not in his DNA. That's why.
So my kids, and I was just like, huh?
So on brand. It's great.
I saw some really good questions in the chat, but I've lost them.
Yeah, I know. Like, hang on.
Let's
You know
scroll
me.
down.
Wes Coleman says, at least you don't get recognized next to a urinal.
Oh my goodness.
That's true.
That would be awkward.
Yeah.
Actually, that reminds me, David Tennant, when I met him at Comic-Con, he said to me, one of the most the awkward things I ever experienced was being asked for my autograph in a communal shower after a gymnasium. And I was just like, what did you do? He was like, the guy handed me a piece of toilet paper. I'm like, I'm naked. I'm in the, where's the pen? And so I pretended to write in water. I handed it back to him. And I was just like, and I thought, it's gonna dry. And I said it's gonna dry. And he was like, I was out of there like greased fucking lightning, and that was just like, that's got to be the urinal thing, So yeah, whereas hopefully I tell you, that'll never happen, but not weird at all.
No. Not weird.
Right,
No.
Lindsay?
Yep.
Weirder things have happened, right?
Yes.
So, but yeah, some things to look for. And these guys weren't kidding, guys, when they said airplanes going over. I mean, there was a 747 going over, and I forget what we were filming, but it was so close. You thought if you stood on the barracks roof and you went up like that you would touch the landing gear. It looked that close.
There's a cool shot in the promo of a plane just being like, "What's up, guys?"
In the
How you
promo,
doing?"
yeah.
Like, yeah. It
Yeah,
was crazy.
Well, that was actually an 18th century American Airlines plane, one of the first.
All
That was captured on one of the first.
Checked out.
No, I mean there was a woman in the 5th row on the last Boeing that went over eating her cheese sandwich, and she waved to me. You know, that's how close the bloody plane was. But Brian, our sound engineer, was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He really everyone was like
Everyone.
just so in love with the entire crew.
Good.
And
And-
Daniela, our DP, and
Yeah, they did awesome.
So good.
Lauren.
When you're doing like a setup like that, sometimes like a whole crew, we're all working on an oil painting together. So each angle and shot is us like mixing a different color to help just encompass the whole piece. So it does take a lot of patience and time and devotion to get it to where it is, but like it's immortalized forever after you get that footage, and then you can put it in a beautiful frame and edit it and give it to the world so you guys can all see. So yeah, I'm so happy. And do you guys remember at the end? So we are getting eaten alive with bugs in between takes. Like me and my girl Maxine. Maxine was the best everything. She wasn't just a PA. She was everything. Yeah.
She had everything you could ever want right there. And I'm like,
Star. And I turn around and say, you know what? Does anyone have any ice for? And she'd be like, and I'm like, huh? How? You know, he's like such a rock star. Like poor Jim got. I mean, you talk about mosquitoes. I think Greg warned us too, and I think I sort of estimated what Greg O'Brien is amazing. He is such a. I mean, he's such a great guy. He's such a cool guy. And on another completely different level, we're both Adam Ant fans. So we were like, he went and got his like Adam Ant concert photos and was showing me, and we were like, oh yeah, we were. But I digress. Anyway, so he's great. But poor Jim Nangano, our tech manager at that shoot, he was bitten alive because he wore shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like standing still and getting just bitten alive.
Yeah, 3 weeks later.
So much too.
Jim's a sweetheart.
I love him.
Yes.
Love Jim.
So Lindsay asked a question. She said, did anything throw us for a loop while we were investigating? Now there were times when the team was filming, like Rob and Megan were together, and me and Melody had some downtime, or vice versa, or whatever. And I had gone over into the underground bunker, and I thought I heard footsteps. I'm like, I'm in there alone, and I thought some like Melody was coming in there or something. I'm like, hello, and I heard it as like there was somebody standing right next to me, like footsteps coming towards me, and I looked, and I went out, and there was like nobody freaking there, and I was like, okay, all right, time to go see where Jim is, you know. And it was a little definitely creep factor for me. Did you guys have anything that happened to you like while you weren't?
Well, that's really crazy. So MJ, Melissa, she's our photographer, our team photographer, and during one of like my off times, I guess you could say, like the crew was all like underground in the tunnels filming, and there were like a couple people over in the barracks. So Melissa and I were kind of just like wandering, kind of like heading up towards where the river is, and we could have swore we saw someone walking on top of the hill, and we're just looking and we're like, no way, is what? And then we're trying to think in our heads about like where everyone's supposed to be, because like we have the call sheet, we know where people are supposed to be, and like everyone was accounted for. So we like walked up there and there was like no one there, and you definitely would have seen someone like what, like there's really no exit plan.
No, not from there. No.
Talking about like up near where that big mound is, and it was just really strange. And the other one would probably be in solitary, like the feeling, like I felt like I was suffocating, and I think I mentioned it in the episode.
Like claustrophobic.
Yeah, and I was just like, I was having like a really hard time breathing. Like it felt like I had a ton of bricks on my chest, and like I couldn't like, I don't know, like I was in solitary, and it was just so bizarre to me. Because I don't normally have issues with enclosed spaces. Like, I'm not claustrophobic, but it was just this overwhelming sensation. I'm like, this is totally some kind of like projection. Like, I feel like it's like an energy imprint from the people that were stuck there for God knows how long. And I was feeling like residuals of that energy. It was just so crazy. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I was a little, I felt a little bit intimidated. Really, partly being British and very obviously so, and because my American accent attempt is just absolutely pitiful. I sound like something from a Hanna-Barbera, show, you know, I was kind of right in a few ways, as you'll see, those who are, when you watch the episode, there are a couple of parts that aren't exactly people from my He's British fan club. But I did feel that it was multi-layered. Funny, really, because I couldn't discern between who was Civil War era, because of course it was recycled when it was rebuilt and used in the Civil War, and also the Revolutionary War. There were so many spirits present, like right during the daytime. It doesn't even, I mean, we could have started filming 2 in the afternoon. I mean, it was just literally from beginning to end. One of the things that stood out to me really was that, oh gosh, well, how can I not give away? Okay, so
this must have made it in the cut.
Yeah, John Durant is an old world troubadour who specializes and has for 20 odd years. Very good friend of ours, his family, in fact, of the Ghost Finders, and a dear brother of mine, just like Dan. And we use him as a trigger object. Our mission is always to start off by demonstrating our intention, and words are great in doing that. But when you arrive and you start, your first thing is to give, by rituals and by music, and by immediately you're different. You're setting yourself aside. Even Melissa, the next morning after the shoot, she's pouring booze into the grass, and like pieces of chocolate, and sacrilege. I was just like, okay, but it's really, I think, why we get the trust from spirit that we do is because we go in there giving, not cracking the whip and expecting spirit to perform like a circus animal, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And then, like I was saying too, like it's their spirits too that can sense that we are coming. And that's what was happening to me with that soldier reaching out. I was having reoccurring dreams of him speaking to us, and like they were very thankful to have us there too. Especially, using music the way we did and just trying to tell their story and capture again that beautiful art piece to share with everyone, you guys. Like, now Melody can describe a little bit feeling like what it felt for that person in solitary confinement. This, like what it feels like having and seeing your blood pour out into the earth. We got to experience a little bit of that from the soldiers there communicating with me. I really loved, how would you say it? Yeah, how intricate all of these spirits were, and they were really grateful to have us there too, a lot of them. And I'm really proud of everything that we got to share with people. And this is one of the first times that you're going to see in my ritual something new be shown on camera before. It has been used in ritual, but not necessarily given to the audience as much too on camera. So I'm really excited about that too. So, yeah.
So, what's behind you, Dan? Rick Perry's saying.
Oh, I heard these are the steps going upstairs at the Hinsdale house. I heard footsteps, and I thought I saw something up there. But
Which I think is super cool that you're there at the Hinsdale
if
house, by the way.
Yeah.
because-
if anybody wants to come and join us on camera, please feel free.
Yeah. Well, those steps that you're covering behind you, I did a painting of those with a little girl that I saw when I first arrived there on the first occasion that I visited Hinsdale House. That's 3 years ago. Let's see. British and American soldiers. Adam says British and American soldiers buried next to each other in Eastern Cemetery in Portland, Maine. They fight every night. So even from the grave.
Yeah. Very intricate. Ooh. There's so much going on there.
Yeah. There were very, for far as I'm concerned, I mean, I went to the bathroom in the barracks, and it wasn't there wasn't a corner of that place where I didn't feel like I was being watched. You know.
Yeah, well, you guys a bit. We actually took a spirit box and went into the tunnels where we sang later in the morning, Rob, and we got a voice there. What was his name? I don't know. I think the tour guide called him the judge or whatnot, and there was a bunch of really nice soldiers. But he got up into MJ's face and my face and was saying stuff too. He did not speak to women well at all. And we were okay, we need you to back it up a little bit. Thank you. And then some of the other soldiers started to respond and stuff too. So that was really, really cool to experience.
Steve, ask your question again one more time, because I'm trying to find it in the chat and it disappears for us sometimes. So
Daryl, I see Daryl had one that wasn't answered.
Yeah, and I have one from Scott Wise too.
Gosh.
So
Can't see
the one from Daryl. You want me to read the one from Scott, or it's from Steve Dills?
Yeah.
He says, what location stands out to you all where the activity or evidence aligned directly to the history of the occurred at the place? So what, in all your investigations, what really stood out to you as something that, went along with kind of the story and the history of the location?
Maybe Belle Grove Plantation, just because a lot of the voices that came through were right on point with what we told about the people who helped out with the house there, and just the fact that all of our tech went off simultaneously.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think I haven't been on a lot, and I know Melody's only been on 2 with us, or 3, right?
3, because
one
I
that
was
wasn't there. But I would think, and this one you weren't at, Megan, but the Burgeon House was pretty active to the story when I was investigating out in that garage, and the activity that happened there. When that bottle moved on its own, it was just so crazy, just to think that somebody may have hung themselves out there, and then all of a sudden it's the rafters just shook and a bottle fell, and it was whoa, pretty crazy, to have something like that happen.
That's a really good question. Yeah, I mean, do you remember, guys? Dan, you remember that and Meg, when the last Penhurst episode that we did, and we started talking to Dr. Fear. I mean, talk about irony of a name. But if you've seen the documentary about Penhurst, Suffer the Little Children, there's an interview with him, and his voice right on the money, absolutely, wasn't it? Came through on Dan's geobox,
and he kept
clear as day.
It wasn't one word. He was speaking sentences, and it was him. Oof.
In that accent.
Yeah.
That was right up there. I mean, there's a lot. In nearly 11 years we've been making this show, and it's always something new. Sometimes you just never know what to expect. Just like obviously you're going in there to do good, not just to capture good evidence, good findings, whatever you want to call them. But I think that's really a couple of them.
Yeah. And for me, oh my gosh, I have so many. I'll try and narrow it down just because I can't pick one. So the first would probably be the governor's mansion up in New Hampshire. It's kind of like a not so well-known location, but I did investigate it with a previous team. And it had reports of like this very like sexist man who would inappropriately touch women, and I was doing a solo like female investigation like by myself with a female camera operator, and not so much antagonizing but being like, hey, like I'm hearing that you're doing this, like I'm giving you permission, you can do it to me. And the spirit definitely followed through with that, and I got literally grabbed, like full man grab on my inner thigh. And it scared me so much. I jumped up from the table that I was like sitting at, flipped the table, and was across the room before anyone even knew what happened, because like that's just my initial reaction. And then the second one would probably have to be like the Bridgewater Triangle. The Bridgewater Triangle in Massachusetts. It's like 300 square miles of just weird. Like my favorite, like that's my specialty, is weird. Like we're talking aliens, Bigfoot, pugwudgies, like everything. And I've investigated a few times, a couple times with Spooky South Coast back when I was a correspondent with them. And just that place never disappoints. It never disappoints. It's super eerie and I just love it. So those would probably be my two.
I'm excited because we're like minutes away from.
Oh my God, are we? What time is it?
Seconds
It's
away.
8:59. We're seconds away, guys.
I'm so excited.
So we're all gonna jump in the chat.
Yes.
Right. We're all gonna go in the chat and talk and chat
Yes.
with people while the episode's going on as well. It'll be fun. So if anything happens that you have questions about on the show, we'll be in the chat to be able to communicate with you and talk with you. And then, of course, if you ever have any questions or you just want to touch base with us, or maybe give us a recommendation of some place to go, or whatever, you just want to shoot the shit, send us a message and we respond to everybody. Ghost Finders page, or reach out to us individually if you want to talk to one of us individually. Let's do it.
And feel free to share, please. And so without further delay, I believe we are ready to roll.
Yay.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Oh no, Rob.
In November of 1777, the British Royal Fleet pounded Fort Mifflin, thousands of cannonballs every hour. The troops here fled, setting fire to every building and everything in it that they couldn't carry with them.
As soon as I got here, I felt called to do some earth magic. I've actually had reoccurring dreams of a soldier.
That's where the guards used to squeeze in, and there's a hole in the wall back there where they slipped them their food and took their wastebasket.
His child watched while I crushed it.
I mean, it's clear that we're getting communications from soldiers in here.
You see skeletons on the screen, and there's nobody there. It's probably a ghost.
Oh, I got a little figure.
Wait.
Did you desert your country?
I'm British. How do you feel about me being here?